Now it's my turn. Thank you, Father Walt, for the opportunity. And thank you also for giving me the opening words of my little speech. I will say, this is my beloved grandson. Hear him. And I'm sure that Cassie and Mike will say the same thing, especially if they saw me standing next to all these cans. An amazing picture. I walked in and some people said to me, keep it short. And how do you keep it short with a story like Cassie and Mike? There's no way. I always felt all my life that I really was a grandson. And I'm sure that many others in the audience would say the same thing. It took me many years to realize how privileged I was. Had the opportunity to come down here as often as I did. I was here so often that I thought at one time that my name was Oh My God. No matter what happened, it was Oh My God, he did it again. Or Oh My God, he's back again. I had a friend come down here with me a few years ago, and I told them the same story. I said, you wait and see when we get down there. There are certain people down there that think that my name is Oh My God. We walked in over to Howard's house, and what's the first words out of his mouth? Oh my God, he's back again. But I didn't realize how wise Cassie and Mike were until many years later. My family grew up in the Depression in Rhode Island. And Cassie and Mike allowed us to come down here in the summertime to take the burden off my parents through the summer. It took me a long while to realize that. Although he didn't spare the work when it came to that. You had to work your way. I feel very, very privileged to be a descendant of Cassie and Mike. Especially Cassie and all the wonderful things she did. And her stories to me that I remember to this day. That's one of the bad things about me. I remember everything. And sometimes to get me started, it's very hard to get me started. I remember especially one time when Howard and Grandpa and I went to do some threshing for a neighbor. We came back, and Grandpa says to me, well, how are you going to figure out the day's pay? I said, that's simple. 3 men, 2 horses, threshing machine, 5 horsepower engine, and a wagon. Grandma wrote down 1 man. I said, what about Howard and me? She said, well, you certainly wouldn't consider yourself a man. You're only a boy. Well, I had to admit that was true. But what about Howard? Well, now that's a different story, she said. He's neither a man nor a boy. He's a hobblyhawk. That's a true story. And it took me years to figure out where Grandma got this word hobblyhawk. I thought she made it up. Later in life, I read a book by Rudyard Kipling, and he was describing life in India with his father, who was a British Army soldier. And he described the hobblyhoys he'd seen running amok through the streets of Calcutta. And that's where Grandma got that word. To prove how well-read she really was. She read all the time. And she passed the gift of reading on to me. I read all the time. Why not? The other thing about Grandpa, no matter where I went with him, somebody would say to him, who's that young fellow there, Mike? Well, that's Allie's boy. And that was the title I was gladly accepted, Allie's boy. When I think of the burden my mother picked up and carried on by herself. When my father died at 47. She was left with 7 children. She picked up the load like the mule she was from the training she got from the people that lived down here. The grit, the determination, the will to survive. She had all these gifts. She laid them out. And she did it. She did the job. There's no doubt about it. She kept us all in the jail, for example. That might have been a political connection. Who knows? But the other great gift I want to mention is the gift of memory. In the Irish race, the oral tradition of history is a very important thing. Many of the Irish are alive today don't realize that. But the English conquered the Irish in the year 1600 and forbade all teaching of anything at all having to do with the Irish race, except they couldn't destroy the oral tradition. So the Irish, in their cuteness and their coyness, decided to write poems and sing songs. Anne Cummings Halloran gave me a little something to read today, but I left it in the hotel. But the last part of it had to do with the appearance of God again on earth. He would appear to various races of people, and he would appear to them as they would see him. But when he appeared to the Irish, he'd have to smile, because he gave them the gift of humor. And that's a gift that we all have, a gift that I have. the ability to laugh at everything, make a joke out of everything. And that's the way it is. Life is a joke in many ways. But the other gift was the gift of memory, the gift of memorization. Mike Cummins could sit down and sing you songs all day long, all about mostly Irish songs that he heard when he was a young man. There was one song that he sang which described life on island after the famine in a place called Skibbereen, was one of his favorite songs. And I heard that song, I think when I was only 6 months old, but I never forgot the words. He came from Mike Cummins directly. Now I know his folks came from Ireland in the year 1800, long before the famine. So where did he get this from? He got it from people that he associated with that were famine Irish. The famine Irish. That's going to be a big word around in years to come, because people are beginning to realize how we did have the gift of survival bestowed on us by the famine Irish and the things that they went through. And the song was Skibbereen. And I'm going to finish up by reciting to you the song called Skibbereen, but I don't dare sing it. I got a lot of memory that Grandpa had, and I also have his voice. And he wasn't called Moose or Mike for nothing. But he knew all the words, I can tell you that. And the song was Skibbereen. Oh, Father dear, I oftentimes hear you speak of Erin's Isle. Her lofty scenes are valleys green, her mountains rude and wild. You say it is a lovely land wherein a prince might dwell. Oh, why did you abandon it? The reason to be told. Oh, son, I love your native home with energy and pride. Till a blight crept on my crops, my sheep and cattle died. My rent and taxes were to pay, I could not them redeem. And that's the cruel reason why I left old Skibbereen. Your mother, too, God rest her soul, fell on the snowy road. She fainted in her anguish, seeing the desolation around. She never rose but passed away from life to immortal dreams. And that's another reason why I left old Skibbereen. When you were only 2 months old and people was afraid, I could not leave you with my friends, you bore your father's name. So I wrapped you in my coat of war, in the dead of night and sea, and I heaved aside and bade goodbye to dear old Skibbereen. I never will forget the day they drove us all away. The landlord and the sheriff came to drive us on our way. They set my roof on fire with their cursed English fleet. And that's another reason why I left old Skibbereen. Oh, Father dear, the day will come, but an answer to the call. Every Irish man with feeling strong will rally one and all. I'll be the man to lead the band, beneath the flag of green. When loud and high, we'll rise the cry, revenge the Skibbereen. Grandpa taught us that song. He taught us a lot of other songs. He taught us Dad's Old Dinner Pail, all these songs. And if you ever want to be the source of entertainment any place you go, stand on the stage some of these days. You'll be amazed at how remarkable people think you are. But it's only the gift of memory that Mike Cummins passed on to me and to all of us. Now here we are in the last year of the 20th century. Everybody's going to start arguing it's the first year of the 21st century. But it's the last year of the 20th century. And I thank God that I was able to live to have this opportunity to give my little 2 cents worth to the celebration of the Cummins family. And congratulations to anyone that did anything at all to help us along. It's a wonderful affair, and I'm very happy I did. Thank you.